So for those of you who don't know, the Brotherhood treatment is a reference to Full Metal Alchemist, which famously has 2 anime adaptations. There's the first one, aptly named Full Metal Alchemist, which, while regarded as a pretty solid series, is mainly remembered for the episode Night of the Chimera's Cry, which has permanently scarred everybody who watched it. Then there's the second one, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was so good that for many years it was apparently the highest ranked anime on my anime list until it was slayed by Freerun. The difference between the 2 adaptations is that Brotherhood followed the manga. So essentially, the Brotherhood treatment means remaking an anime adaptation of a manga or light novel, but this time actually follow the source material. We recently had series do exactly that, such as Fruits Basket 2019, which came out almost 20 years after the original anime and a good 13 years after the manga had already finished. And then there's Spice and Wolf 2024, coming out 15 years after the original anime run. Both of these series have pretty solid first adaptations, much like FMA, but were just incomplete, just missing that je ne sais quoi. The point is that despite years passing, if a series has a great concept and enough goodwill, it too can be Full Metal Alchemist. So this is my list of anime that quite frankly deserve Brotherhood treatment. I might make another list because I feel like there are other shows that should have been on this list, but that I've forgotten. P.S. I'm only going to talk about anime I've watched and or manga/light novel I've read. So apologies if I miss a series you love. I have a couple of honourable mentions. Rave, written by Hiro Mashima of Fairy Tail fame, and with some of the elements of that show. This is an honourable mention because I think the time for remaking the series has already passed. It should have been done in the Fairy Tail era. Tenjo Tenge. This show started off great, then it went into the never-ending flashback arc and just never recovered. I think the series still has massive potential and is ripe for a remake in the isekai-saturated anime landscape. The problem with this series is that it was made by O-Grade, who tends to be a little bit not suitable for modern audiences. Let's go with that. Deadman Wonderland. Rather than a reboot, this show needs a season 2 more. I think remaking it from start would be the better idea, but I would be cool with just even a continuation. Tokyo Ghoul. Do I even need to say anything else? Lord, I didn't even watch most of it. I just read the manga instead. Codebreaker. I just have one thing to say. For the love of God, don't change the demographics of a series from seinen to shonen. It's seinen for a reason. And finally, Fate Stay Night. I'm mostly cool with this show, which is a statement I 100% can make because I've never played the game. I'm basing my desire for a remake based on Fate Zero and the Unlimited Blade Works movie. Essentially, the Saber arc deserves the ufotable treatment. And now we get into the actual list. Tsukiime. Shut it. Similar to Fate Stay Night, I mainly want this show to get a remake because I want it to be done by Ufotable, assuming they have the desire to resurrect their animation team after they die from making the Demon Slayer movies. Shut it. I remember being drawn in by the first few episodes, but I never quite finished because I got bored along the way. Shut it. But I always remembered Shiki's power, and I think in different hands it would make one hell of a... There is no Tsukiime anime. Alright, I'll move on. Elfen Lied. Elfen Lied has a special place in my heart. It's one of the first anime that I watched that I had never watched as a child. I might actually do a facts video about Lucy one day. Like the other series mentioned, the Elfen Lied anime is far from bad. It just sucks that the story is left unfinished and that storylines and characters were scrapped. I think Elfen Lied has the kind of plot that is timeless, because it's ultimately a story not about good versus evil, but one of overcoming trauma, finding people who really care about you, forgiveness, and who you are when you have power. The story is so good, even a hentai studio gave it justice. A remake would be more than timely in the modern era. History's strongest disciple, Kenichi. Kenichi is another casualty of the Holy Shonen Trinity era, or the Big Three era. For those who don't know, the Holy Shonen Trinity, or the Big Three, originally referred to Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. 3 shonen shows airing at the same time that were so massively popular that they drowned out virtually all other shonen anime and a lot of non-shonen shows as well. Kenichi, the manga and anime, came out around that time, and though it did well, it just couldn't compete. It didn't help matters that the anime adaptation was just subpar at best. If they do remake Kenichi, I hope they treat it like my Dead Man Wonderland example and just continue the series from where it left off, or where it went wrong, rather than starting from the beginning. As much as I love Kenichi, the beginning is weak, and the series arguably only really came into its own when the Yami vs. Yomi arcs began. Claymore. I might have mentioned in my Clear Facts video, but Claymore is one of my top 5 favorite manga, and the anime didn't do the series justice. There's really not much to say beyond that, but while I'm here, maybe we could get a second part to the manga itself, or even a prequel series. I feel like the story could continue, or we at least need to see the epicness of the mainland war. And also since we're talking about Yagi, maybe we could get a remake of Angel Densetsu? And my number 1 is... I have to take a deep breath here because I feel like people might burn me at the stake for this. So my number 1 is Rosario Vampire. I watched both seasons of Rosario Vampire. I can tell you now that I only watched season 2 because I hadn't read the manga yet and genuinely thought that was it. If I had read the manga first and then saw season 2, I would have flown to Japan and the studio and the writer for allowing them to butcher their work. Rosario Vampire came out at a time when harem, ecchi tits, and stupid pervy male leads in high school were what made the anime world go around. I feel like we've left most of that era behind, not just because creators have realized that fans want more than that, but also because isekai is like if Kirby was also just a giant ball of cancer gobbling everything up while also metastasizing itself to all corners of the medium. Jokes aside, Rosario Vampire is a good manga with a plot that gets progressively darker and more mature, dealing with, well, more light-hearted versions of what Elfin Lied serves up. I highly recommend it. And that's my list. Do you agree? Disagree? Do you have any other shows that need the Brotherhood treatment? Say it in the comments.